It was just before 7 p.m. in Delhi when a car bomb exploded here at a busy traffic light near the Indian capital's historic Red Fort. Its force mangled nearby vehicles, claiming the lives of at least 8 people and injuring at least 20. Ambulances rushed the injured to hospital, and forensic teams worked into the morning gathering evidence. The country's counter-terrorism force is now investigating, but the police wouldn't be drawn on the cause of the explosion.
Investigation is ongoing. Nothing can be conclusively said as of now.
It was 6:52 p.m. that Delhi's police commissioner said a slow-moving car stopped at a red light here, near the city's Red Fort metro station, before exploding. The Red Fort, a Mughal fortress, is one of Delhi's main landmarks and is where Indian Prime Ministers deliver Independence Day speeches every year. The Delhi City Police spokesman said the car was carrying 3 people at the time. Senior police officials also said they were investigating possible links to the recovery of arms and material used to make explosives in a neighbouring state on Monday in Faridabad city, while Indian press has been reporting the arrest of several doctors in what's being called a white-collar terror network. Several states have been put on high alert. 150 kilometres away in Amroha, the bodies of 2 friends who'd met up near the metro station just before the blast went off were returned by ambulance to their families. Ashok Gujar was just 34 years old. How will his wife raise his children now, says his sister. They're just 3 and 4 years old. In the early hours of this morning, desperate relatives waited outside Lok Nayak Hospital waiting for news, some receiving the worst. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, on a state visit to Bhutan, vowed in an address to bring those responsible to justice.
I was in touch with all the agencies investigating this incident throughout last night. Discussions were underway and threads of information were being linked. Our agencies will get to the bottom of this conspiracy. The conspirators behind this will not be spared.
The Indian Interior Minister chaired a high-level meeting with intelligence officials today in Narendra Modi's absence. Terror attacks are rare in India's busiest cities, but after an attack in Indian-controlled Kashmir this spring, the Prime Minister said he would treat any future attacks as an act of war. India and Pakistan often accuse each other of supporting terror, prompting worries this latest incident could raise tensions. Pakistan itself has had its own tragedy today, hit by an explosion in the heart of its capital, Islamabad, with at least 12 people killed. Pakistan's government blamed the attack on India-backed militants. India has yet to respond, but soon after, the Pakistani Taliban claimed the Islamabad attack. I'm joined now by Dr. Subir Sinha, who is the director of the SOAS South Asia Institute. Thank you for joining us. First, can you tell us about this attack in Delhi? It's very rare for an attack like this to happen.
It has come as, I think, a huge surprise to everyone. Something like this to happen in a highly crowded area, which is what the Red Fort area is, to happen just before the second phase of the Bihar elections were going to resume, and of course happening in an atmosphere of I think a high rhetoric, both vis-a-vis Pakistan and in relation to Muslims within India. At one level, the Prime Minister has been, if I can say that, he's been a kind of a prisoner of his own rhetoric vis-a-vis, massive retaliation that he would undertake in relation to Pakistan if there was any established link to Pakistan to this kind of an attack, or for that matter, to any terror attack. But also, there's been a lot of negative speaking about Muslims in India, including in the campaign. And I think there's been a very strong effort going on for some months now to basically paint them as the enemy within. So you've got the enemy within rhetoric, which can have all kinds of repercussions to Muslims in parts of India. And of course, you've got the enemy without, or the external enemy rhetoric. And to take action, both in terms of state action, but I think more worryingly in terms of vigilante actions within the country, all of this would be something that the Indian authorities would have to keep an eye on.
Do you worry about the effect this could have on tension between the two governments?
Interestingly, in the tweets that Mr. Modi has sent out in relation to these to the blast, he has actually not mentioned the word Pakistan, because obviously that would tie his hand even further in terms of requiring him to take action. Don't forget that going back to 2019, when the Pulwama incident happened, in which a number of Indian soldiers were blown up in an explosion in Kashmir, the Prime Minister had coined a term. In Hindi, it says, "Ghar mein ghus kar marenge," or "we'll enter your house and we'll assault you." And that had been a very popular slogan in terms of showing his resolve to take action against Pakistan without really, sort of waiting for international approval. And that's exactly what happened also in relation to the Pahalgam attack earlier on this year, when they launched Operation Sindoor. And of course, at that point they claimed, and I think, with some corroboration, that they destroyed a number of centers of terror, within Pakistan. So I think everything points to a population that has been primed for support for this kind of a heavy action against Pakistan. And that is not only people who vote for the Prime Minister, but the idea of Pakistan as a constant threat, and the idea that it should be dealt with firmly, even if it means, sort of going beyond diplomatic norms and things like that, I think is now very well established within a large section of the Indian population.
And within the Indian press, there have been reports of this being down to what's being called a white-collar terror group of doctors within India. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a woman doctor who has been arrested earlier on, I think maybe 24 hours before these blasts. And from the reports that we can see, she's said to have had AK-47 and other guns and other explosives in her car. Then the arrest of 4 people in the town of Faridabad, just outside of Delhi in the state of Haryana. And these are people, some of them have medical degrees. In fact, all of them have medical degrees. One of them seems to have had a medical degree from China. So the rhetoric that has now taken hold is that these are professionals. We should not just be thinking of people who are unemployed or otherwise have economic grievances and therefore have turned to terror, that these are basically middle-class people with advanced degrees, and that they're doctors whose job obviously is to preserve life. And that sort of makes it appear very bad.
And how unusual, too, to have an attack in Islamabad within 24 hours.
No, exactly. And, I think a lot of people would be very quick to link these two things. And of course, for a large number of Indians, this would be seen as, in some ways, a legitimate retaliation through quote-unquote unknown men who have made a lot big appearance within Indian media over the last few years. But let's keep in mind that Pakistan has a number of sort of domestic terror activities and groups.
Dr. Sabir Sinha, thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you.